The views and opinions expressed on My Story Living with Lupus podcast represents each person's individual experience. By listening to this podcast or reading our blog, you agree not to use this podcast or blog as medical advice to treat any medical condition in either yourself or others. As always, consult your own physician for any medical issues that you may be having. My Story Living with Lupus podcast is officially trademarked, all rights reserved. Thank you for joining me for another episode of My Story Living with Lupus. Hope that you guys are safe and doing fine. Hey, I had a request off of Twitter last night for me to ask the lupus community their thoughts on the use of hydroxychloroquine, a medication that is used to treat the symptoms of lupus. Well, I put the call out on my social media pages and I had a response. You will hear from Michelle Hudson of Raw and Uncut Lupus Chronicles. She'll give her raw and uncut opinion on what's going on with COVID-19 and the use of hydroxychloroquine. So everybody, you know what I want you to do. That's right, all the way from the United States to Australia. Grab your cup of coffee, your cup of tea. And to those who are listening late at night, grab that favorite glass of wine and come on and join the conversation right here on My Story Living with Lupus. If you would like to appear on an episode of My Story Living with Lupus, you can contact us at mystorylivingwithlupus@gmail.com. Also visit us on our Instagram page and also our website, My Story Living with Lupus. Last night I received a DM off of Twitter from a young lady with lupus who had a question about Plaquenil and my thoughts on it. I expressed it to her. She then asked me, was I still doing my podcast? And I informed her yes. And she said, could you please ask the lupus community to speak out about the drug Plaquenil and to be truthful, to let the people know their thoughts and feeling about what the administration is saying now. And one person stepped up to the call, and her name is Michelle. How are you doing, Michelle?
I'm fine. You?
Okay. Tell us your thoughts on what you've been hearing about the use of the drug hydroxychloroquine, better known as Plaquenil, that they give to those of us with lupus to control the symptoms.
Well, I know for a fact that it messes with your eyesight. Makes your eyesight go bad. Kidneys, liver, your skin condition. If you have bad skin conditioning, it goes from bad to worse. Me, myself, personally, being a lupus patient, when my doctor prescribed the medication to me, I didn't take it because one of the side effects, after reading a long line of side effects to it, was death. Now, since everything has came upon with the virus and everything is going on, I went back, I Googled it again. They removed death from one of the side effects because they don't want nobody to know what's really the truth about this medication. The medication does more harm to your body than it does good to your body.
What? Go ahead. Go ahead.
But I'm concerned, me personally, I think, this is just my personal opinion, that the government set out with this medication to do more harm to people that have chronic illness like lupus, MS, chronic arthritis, to do us more harm than good. Now they're giving it to people with the coronavirus. The coronavirus is supposed to be like a pneumonia. Plaquenil, sorry if I can't pronounce it correctly, does not do anything for anybody that has a cold. So why are you giving it to them?
So let me ask you this. Do you think that before the administration stated that they had this marvelous wonder drug that'll cure it and everybody would be okay, do you think there should have been more scientific trials and testing for this drug to see if it actually does anything to the virus, as the administration is saying?
Yes, I do. Instead of them trying it on a human being, they did their proper testing like they do every other drug, and they just put it out there and started giving it to humans. And more people have been dying from taking the drug than from people dying from the virus itself.
Now, what do you think about the patients who have lupus and that are on this medication, but now they're having a hard time getting this medication refill?
I think it's wrong because a lot of people in the lupus community do take the medication. To each his own, don't get me wrong. But I think it's wrong where right now, where a lot of people, they depend on it. A lot of lupus patients depend on that medication because in their mind, they're thinking that's just making them survive a little bit longer. But in reality, it's not. But I think it's wrong because they're giving it to everybody else before they give it to the people that was already on. I think it's totally wrong. And my honest opinion, honestly, I think they just another way for them to get rid of some of the people in the lupus community, if I'm saying it right, because of the simple fact they know that a lot of people is on this drug, like I say, and they know in their mind, okay, well, the lupus people can take it then. Well, okay, well, just doing them more good than anything. But the reality is not. Me, honestly, I think they should pull the drug. Period. Do their scientific testing, pull the drug, and see who it's really good for. And my understanding, it's not good for not any human being. Whether you got corona, lupus, MS, or arthritis, it's not good for none of them.
So, what I have read is that 20 patients, I think it was in Italy, that they gave hydroxychloroquine to. And I think some out of those 20 patients died from the medication. I read this morning where a man was so hyped, he was going by what the administration had stated about the drug, that he took too much of it and he died today.
Because they're not giving the people the right amount of dosage. If they really feel in their heart that this medication is going to heal everybody with close, they need to find out what doses they need to take. Not just jumping them off with too much of it, and people are not taking it the way they're prescribed to take it, because actually a lot of people are taking too much of it. And too much of it, of course, at one time is going to kill you. And it's sad because they haven't, you understand what I'm trying to say? They haven't tried to say, well, you can take this once a day, once a day at 350 milligrams once a day, not 3 times a day.
Now, when I was taking it twice a day. And they had me on it for 14 years until they had to pull me off of it due to the fact that it was causing my body more harm. And I wound up with eye damage. And that damage is that I'm going blind in my left eye. So, do you believe, let me ask you this, do you believe that the United States knew about this coronavirus ahead of time and just failed to act? And now that people in tremendous amount of numbers have came infected with it and are dying with it, they're just scrambling for anything they can do to calm people down. And do you think that the current administration cares enough to listen to what the scientists are saying, to listen to the medical community and what they're saying? Basically, do you think they're acting quick enough? And do you think that they just blew this all off like it's just another flu season for them?
Actually, in the beginning, I believe they just thought it was just another flu season, another flu season for them. And they knew it was here because they put it out here. That's just my personal opinion. The government put it out here, but they didn't think it was going to spread like wildfire, like it did. And honestly, if it hadn't never hit some of the Bay people, it wouldn't have never been concerned. I think it's biological warfare, population control. Anything they could do to make us sufficient, if I'm saying it correctly. They knew they were warned, just like they were warned with 9/11. They were warned. Did they take heed? No. My personal opinion, Trump took, he felt like going to bomb Iraq was a little bit more important than taking care of his people in the United States. They both for him. So now he's going to play Captain Saber and try to save us all. And God forbid they would do something to save us. Just as well, they sprayed it all in the air. They got the cure for it, spray it back in the air so we could be okay.
So basically,
they feel like the older people, anybody that's 70 growing up that's getting Social Security, eliminate them so to be Social Security for people in their 30s and under. They also feel like people that have any chronic illness that's getting Social Security, they feel like we just taking up air, wasting space. We just taking up space. So they're trying to control everything. And it's not for them to control. It's only for the man of above control. And I feel like if people believe in God, they don't have nothing to worry about.
Do you know of any other people within the lupus community that has been in contact with you that has stated they can't get their normal dose of medication because of what is going on?
I have one person that actually, through a friend, that told me that she was contacted by her doctor and told her to go get her medication early due to the fact of the virus. Some doctors are reaching out to their patients, which I find that wonderful because they're caring doctors. Some doctors are not. But it's also up to your insurance company to okay of you getting it early. Now, from my understanding, some insurance companies are not okay with it. Some are. It depends on what type of insurance you have. You got that good A1 insurance, you got your Medicaid. But if you got Medicaid or low-income insurance, you can forget it. It was said on the news broadcast yesterday. It really, to be honest, it messed with me in a mental type of way because it was said that if you want to go to the hospital, you have corona, it's all up to the doctor's discretion whether you to be treated or not. Meaning, if you got any good insurance and they know they gonna get that money, they gonna treat. You don't have no good insurance, they gotta fight your insurance company for their money, and you can forget it.
Have you ever had problems with your insurance when you have gone to the hospital?
Yes, I have. I have had pneumonia 3 times, maybe 4, and I have been sent right back home. And the prescription they have gave me was a Z-Pack. Z-Pack is used for the flu, common cold, not for pneumonia. Every time I get pneumonia, it's always in my left lung. They don't treat you the way you're supposed to be treated. The last particular time that I went to the hospital, I believe it was in January. And they didn't give me no antibiotics through IV. They gave me just saline water, wrote me out a script, and sent me home. Any other time, they're supposed to give you antibiotics, and they're supposed to start your treatment in the hospital before you're released. And due to the fact that you don't have that A1 insurance, you can forget it.
So you feel that you were discriminated based on insurance?
Yes, ma'am. I know I was. It was how I feel, how my look to me. It is what it is. It was discrimination. Hey, this woman don't have enough money for us in our insurance, so we just gonna give her a little bit of water in the system and sit on her. And that's exactly what they did.
Do you go to the doctor regularly for your lupus?
Yes.
How do they treat you in the doctor's office?
In the doctor's office, it depends on what type of relationship that you have with your doctor. But basically, it's an in and out thing. Hello, what's going on with you today? Not how are you? How you been? None of that. Like a regular, normal doctor with good insurance will do it. It's like, okay, well, here you go. Have a great day. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Will work. It's not for a person with my medicaid insurance. Let me say that I do have medicaid insurance. If my doctor visits are not thorough for somebody that has worked maybe 20, 30 years with Blue Cross Blue Shield or anything like that. No, it's not thorough like that. They don't care. They don't care. They don't want to hear that your side effects or what you're afraid or why you're afraid to take this medication. They don't care. And a lot of them don't even ask you, are you taking it? They write you the script and tell you they see you in 6 months. 9 3 months, not next month, 6 months. Is that fair? No.
Do they do regular blood work on you?
Every 6 months. When I was told it's going to be every month.
So let me ask you this. It's, from what I'm getting, you would just rather stay at home and you would rather stay at home than to go to the doctor because you feel that you're being mistreated based on your insurance.
Yeah. I would rather stay at home, Google my symptoms, God forgive me, and do a home grandma treatment of what grandma used to give us when we had a cold or sick. Because I know once I get to that doctor's office, how I feel and what I'm thinking of what's going on with me really doesn't matter, because I say at least 80% of the doctors nowadays are not asking how you feel. Well, how do you think this medication is working for you? They don't ask you that because they don't care, because all they see in the end of the day is their ID number. Once they see their ID number, they know who it belongs to, what insurance company the ID number belongs to, this, that, and the third, and that's upon how they treat you. Doctors nowadays treat you upon your insurance. And people need to wake up and realize that.
Do you think it's widespread all over? Is it just in the African American community that they do this?
You want my honest opinion?
Yeah. Speak your honest truth. Let me tell you. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me tell you this. I have extended this podcast to so many, and I don't understand why people within the community does not want to speak their truth.
Well, my truth is, to be honest with you, I think it's within the African community, our community, because of the simple fact that they feel like, a lot of doctors feel like, okay, well, they're not going to do what they're supposed to do anyway, so why should I care? They don't care, so why should I care? Or let me give them this medication without explaining to them what they write you 100 scripts and won't explain to you which each one is for. It's upon you to look it up to find out what it's supposed to be for. And if you're smart enough, you'll look up the side effects.
But it is also the patient's responsibility to ask questions. Have you ever asked questions to your doctor?
I asked a question to my doctor one day because I had noticed that I was getting numbness in the bottom of my feet. And this is after I was in a coma. He told me it was part of lupus. But he didn't tell me which part of lupus. I had to find out from a good friend that it was rheumatoid arthritis. And upon that, I asked him, I said, well, what can I do for it? What can I take for it? And he looked at me and he said, he don't know. My response to him is, you're the friend. You want to be on doctor, you're supposed to know. Because that's how I feel. If I come to you and say my knees hurt, prime example, I had to rush to the hospital because both my knees were hurting so bad that I couldn't stand up and walk. Went to the emergency room, asked them why my knees was hurt. They told me they didn't know. Well, why are you here? If you can't tell a person why they're going through certain things, if they ask questions and you can't tell them why, then how is a person supposed to feel?
Getting back to the coronavirus, I want you to speak your total truth on why you feel that it's no more people within the loop, why no one else answered the call when I put it out on social media, to why no one else in this community is upset about the hydroxychloroquine?
You know what? Because a lot of them, people in the lupus community, don't want to hear the truth. I'm sorry. They don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to accept the fact of what's really going on. Now, when everything started hitting them personally, and I mean them personally, then they will speak up. But right now, they feel like, oh, well, I got mine. So what if my sister across the street got lupus and don't have her? It shouldn't be like that. It really shouldn't. It shouldn't be like that at all, because of the fact that I'm pretty sure a lot of people in the lupus community have borrowed this fact that they haven't even thought about taking. And now they know, okay, well, let me start taking this because this is going to... No. Because of the coronavirus, there is not going to be any lupus medication for the lupus community by spring.
Do you honestly think, though, that they would do that? Because my opinion was, and I posted this on Facebook, and I got some feedback. What I stated was, I said, it's all about supply and demand. And anything in business, it's about, and the medical field, it's about supply and demand. They're going through a situation now with getting hospital beds, masks, gowns. That's supply and demand. Now, when it comes to the drug hydroxychloroquine, it's all about supply and demand. In my thinking and in my background, you have to look at the number of patients that are already on this medication, how it's taken, what are they taking it for. Then you have to take, if this drug can somehow slow down COVID-19, you have to take it through clinical trials, get scientific data that states, not just on 20 people, because that population is too low, it's not diverse, and you don't know if it was 10 men, 10 women, or 5 men, 5 women, 5 kids. You have to know the medical history and everything. With this drug, you have to understand what is the adverse reaction if you're on heart medication. I'm just using this as an example, heart medication or so forth. And the reply I got back off of social media was, they don't call out, I'll take that back. It's a supply and demand for blood also, but they don't advertise it. You can't tell me that they don't advertise it, because when it is a supply shortage for blood, it's a call out for that. Do you think they just should have took their time and said, we messed up and somehow we got to fix it to see what the adverse side effects of this medication does to people before we try it on the people in the United States?
Yes, I do. I really do, because of the simple fact that, like you say, you don't know what type of medication anybody else is already on before they put them on it. And by you putting somebody, like you said, with heart medication or maybe diabetes, and you putting them on this medication, you don't know if the side effects are going to go up or down. You know, some of they just say, here, take this. And a lot of people, especially older people, is not going to ask any question. They just going to take it. And in the result, they're dying.
Do you think everybody's in a panic state and whatever the administration states that they gonna be gun-ho for, don't ask no questions, don't ask their doctor or anything about this medication?
That's exactly what's going to happen. Because all they going to know is it's supposed to cure coronavirus. They're not going to ask no questions. They're not going to look it up. They're going to take it, and God forbid, they're going to make known. My thing about this is...
Go ahead.
How can I put this? They got more faith in man than God alone. You know, I hate to say it, but that's just my personal opinion. That's just how I feel. You know, they're looking for them to come up with a cure, and them to come up to do this, and them to come up and do that. And like I say, a lot of older people, they're not going to ask no questions. They not. Hopefully they got some kids and grandkids, great-grandkids, and say, well, Granny, hold on, let me read up on this before you take it. The first thing they're going to come out of their mouth is, well, my doctor prescribed it, so I'm going to take it.
And you don't think that they would go ahead and ask for the side effects or...
Mm-hmm. No. You know why?
What?
All they know in their mind is it kills corona. So besides Vacaville, there's going to be another medication that comes out. And it's definitely going to be taking people out.
Well...
I want to advise everybody, not even my Lupus brothers and sisters. Think first. Get educated. Get smart. What you think they got Google for? If you can't get on Google, go to the library. Ask somebody. Ask somebody. Y'all gotta think.
They can ask their doctors, but how many will now jump up to the forefront and be bold enough to ask their doctor what are the side effects?
And a lot of doctors don't even know the side effects. You know, leave it like that. And if they do know, they're not going to tell. If they do know, they're not going to tell you. And the ones that really care, that don't know, they're going to say, hold on. Or might just pull out their phone and Google it themselves. But like I say, doctors will give you a list of prescriptions to go fill every month. They don't even know why they're giving it to you. They're giving some medications out to lupus patients for depression and just bipolarism, but it's also supposed to help with pain. But when you take that medication, you feel like you're a monkey outside the box.
You're talking about Cymbalta, which is a depression medication, which is used to calm the nerves down due to the lupus pain. And sometimes the doctor will recommend also gabapentin, which is a seizure medication that they say that is good for the fibromyalgia.
Exactly. I had a medication, I can't think of the name of it, but last year I was in Georgia and I was in pain, and my uncle said, well, why don't you take, the medication? And I said, well, he's a doctor. I said, well, Uncle, I read the side effects for this, and this, and this. And he looked at me, he said, well, don't take it.
Now, let me ask you this. Why do you think they haven't found a cure for lupus?
They got a cure, they don't want to give it to them.
So you're saying they have a cure for everything?
They got a cure for it. They don't want to give it to us. You don't hear nobody complaining about AIDS no more. You don't hear nothing about nobody dying for AIDS no more. Some people dying for work. They have a cure for everything. It's all about how big your pocket is about them giving it.
Well, they stated, I read, that they were trying to use a drug for HIV along with the hydroxychloroquine for the COVID-19. What are your thoughts on that? Mixing.
Good luck. Good luck. Because me personally, if anybody paid attention to the symptoms of the COVID-19, there's just a flu and pneumonia. So why not treat the people with the medication for flu and pneumonia? They say it's fluid up the lung. There is medication out here for people that have had fluid in their lungs and had to be drained. Why not give them that? Why give them something that's not designed to help them with the virus? I never know take a Tylenol get rid of a cold and pneumonia. Maybe I'm wrong, but I know I'm right.
So basically, you just feel that they're stating the hell with the people who's already on this hydroxychloroquine, better known as Plaquenil.
I wanted to, yes. They are. Yes, they are. Because, why? Because probably about 80% of us that do have lupus are bringing in Social Security. So, for them to keep the money into the economy, they are getting rid of us. Left and right. There's more people with lupus that are dying from this so-called virus than anything. And it don't make any sense whatsoever because of this simple fact that they already on a medication. If you're already on a medication, how can you get the virus? Oh, wait. How can you get the virus when you already just don't have to say, oh, this is miracle drug? And we've been taking it. A lot of people have been taking this medication for years. One of the main reasons, honestly, that made me look up the medication is because a young lady that I knew, she had lupus. And she had a store. She said that store grew from a regular store to like May. And the only medication she was taking was that Plaquenil. I said, oh, I passed. And when I got my script, I looked it up. The last word was death. I definitely passed. Now you tell me that all these lupus patients coming up with this virus that's been on this medication, why are they not okay? Just today, I had to say my condolences to 3 lupus people that have died from this medication, from this virus. But they already were taking Plaquenil. Think about it. People need to wake up and think.
They were already on Plaquenil, and they died anyway. Yeah. But see, they're going to say they died from the underlying conditions that they had along with the virus. And that's why I'm really trying to get people to educate themselves and open their mind when they talk about this drug. That
this drug is not a miracle. See, the government and their president has been out this is a miracle drug. My personal opinion is no, it's a miracle drug for them because it's killing more of us on a daily basis. A lot of people that's been dying from this are not rich. They're not rich at all. It's poor people dying from this. You don't see or hear about nobody rich dying about it. A young man died at the age of 38 working for 911. They quarantined him and everything else. And he still died. Don't treat a lupus medication or medication for arthritis when they need to be treated for something with a cold and pneumonia. That's all coronavirus is pneumonia. My next question is, they want to tell people don't touch this, don't touch that. If you touch something, how can it get to your lungs? You have to breathe it in. Once you breathe it in, you breathe it into your lungs. When you breathe it into your lungs, you breathe the disease into your lungs. If they stop spraying the air with this bull crap, then we'll be all right.
I can't dispute what you're saying. It is your truth.
It's the truth. If people would, like you say, we have to get more educated. And I thank you for giving me this opportunity to voice my opinion. But as a black woman in America, really amongst middle class, low class, however they want to put it, if we would pay attention to get educated on the things that's going on in this world today, things like this virus right now and everything that's going on in the world, everybody is panicking. You shouldn't get too upset. That's what I'm saying. That's just my personal opinion. I mean, of course, you got to take things seriously because the government is making you take things serious, but you shouldn't have to worry if you believe in God. But if you get educated, you wouldn't take anything anybody writes a prescription for. Because you want your children to be educated. You want children's children to be educated. And everything starts with us. So if we get educated, and we don't have to worry about our kids getting educated. Because in another 10 years, there's going to be another disease out. And it's going to be worse than this.
Well, you know, you mentioned education. And we, as a people, tend to look down on people who try to educate us on different things to get our minds open. It's
I understand what you're trying to say. No. I feel like if a person that got college education, usually, education in medical fields is trying to put out information right here to educate us all and trying to tell us what's going on, we should really. What?
uh-huh. But, you know, I had a young man who had lupus, who has lupus on the podcast the other day. And he made a point. I asked him the same question. He made a point. He said that the community, the lupus community, is a competition. People take it like it's a competition thing between one another. And like he said, it's not. It is not a competition. And he said if we band together, we could.
Band together, I would love to see us band together and take the information from people like yourself that have education in a medical field that's trying to educate us seriously. We'll be okay. If we band together, the ones that take that fight will be able to get it. If we band together, we'll get a cure. If we band together, our voices will be heard. Our voices will never be heard as long as everybody's sitting back, putting each other down, or trying to take, what am I trying to say, fame and somebody else is trying to educate you or something. So, oh no, I put that. No, it's nobody. We'll be in competition for the die. Who's gonna see who die first? Because that's what we leading up to. If don't nobody wake up, that's what's gonna happen. See who died first. Well, who going in the hospital for what? Or I had someone tell me they was in the hospital, supposed to have a stroke this and that, and this young lady told me that I had my time to shine. Well, my time to shine is when I don't have lupus no more. But me being in a coma, not knowing how to walk when I wake up, couldn't walk when I woke up, and taught myself how to walk all over again, I didn't feel like I was in a competition with nobody. So to me, I hate to say it, but they're stupid. They're dumb, and they're naive. They don't see the long run to banding together. If we band together and unite together, we'll have a cure. We'll be heard. Being heard from the mayor's office or the governor's office isn't anything. Y'all talk to me when you give me somebody up there in the White House to talk about lupus. That's when we're being heard. But you can't get that as long as they keep acting a fool. We will never get that. And I agree with them. I agree with them 100%. Them trying to be in competition with each other for what? You in competition to see who's going to die first, who's going to be on the ventilator first, who's going to be on dialysis first, who's going to be taking chemo first.
Well, you know for a fact when they told me that I had to take chemo, I totally said no. When they told me that was the only way that I was going to live was with chemo, and I said no.
So. And my thing about that is chemotherapy is supposed to kill off the bad cells in your body, correct? And what are they using to protect the good cells in your body?
Well, that it kills off the bad cells, but you know those good cells are going to get hit also. So if lupus is already attacking my system, and if I went under chemo, to be honest with you, I would be dead right now. I would be dead. But for those who take chemo, everybody's case is different. If you have to take it, fine. But for me, I would be dead right now.
Right.
And I know so many people who were on chemotherapy and they're no longer here with lupus. So
I'll rest my case. I'm not going to take any of that. Like right now, I need a hip and a knee. I refuse to get it done so I can't stand up no more.
But you need a hip and a knee, but based on your insurance,
I can't get it.
You can't get it.
Oh, wait a minute. I'll rephrase it. I can. But the one that they would give me is the one that they have no recolor. Or the ones that they know they're not supposed to use anymore. They don't give you what you're supposed to get and you're entitled to get due to the fact of your insurance. Again, everything has to do with insurance. Because of something they give people chemo because insurance. They feel like they're supposed to treat people with lupus. And how, I don't know.
Well, based on what you just said, and it's sad to say that the medical field has turned away. I should say some medical professionals have turned away from the art of caring for patients. They went to a profit situation, and it totally messed up the medical field today. It's messed up based on that profit. Hospitals used to be non-profit, and regardless if you had insurance or not, you were taken care of. But now if you have a state insurance, they're going to give you less care as possible because they know that turnaround time for that payment from the state will be a while, and it won't be a substantial amount for the services that were rendered towards a patient that receives or that is on Medicaid insurance.
Right. Exactly. I agree with her because they don't, like I said, it's all about the money. It's all about the bank flow. It's all about the cash flow. It don't matter about saving a person's life. That's not their concern no more. Their concern is how fast they're going to get paid or if they're going to get paid. So, again, they write you a bunch of scripts. They don't care whether they see you not or not.
And that's where the addiction starts, when doctors just write scripts and say, okay, like you said, I'll see you in 6 months. Then a person turn around and becomes addicted to whatever they're taking. So that's another problem. That's another cause.
The truth is, the reason why they take 6 months to want to see you again is within 6 months they should have got their paycheck. So once upon them getting their paycheck, then yeah, I see you. But yeah, a lot of people are getting addicted to medication. They are.
What would you like to say to the listening audience before you go?
Get educated. Everyone get educated. Wake up. Pay attention. Listen to someone that has medical experience that's telling you what's going on. Pay attention to that person because the information they're giving you will be the information to save your life.
I see that you have a little one there, and before I go, I want to ask you, how are you guys coping with the lockdown that we're in right now?
They driving me crazy, honestly. But you know what? We coping real good because of the fact that one man is in control, and I have faith in him and him only. And I know everything's going to be okay.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. This has been an eye-opener from someone who has lupus and who has had interaction with the medical field. Don't hang up. Well, that's it for me tonight. Join me tomorrow for a conversation with Kelly Rogers. She's a nutritionist. I would just like to let you guys know to please follow the guidelines that are set by the CDC and World Health Organization. Also, to all of my ex-colleagues in the medical field, know that I thank you for being on the front lines and doing everything that you're doing. I would like to thank all of my personal physicians for taking care of everybody. Know that my prayers are with you, and to those of you who have been affected by COVID-19, know that I pray for you every night. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Susan Hendricks for my story, Living with Lupus, and I'll see you tomorrow for a conversation with Kelly Rogers. views and opinions expressed on My Story Living with Lupus podcast represents each person's individual experience. By listening to this podcast or reading our blog, you agree not to use this podcast or blog as medical advice to treat any medical condition in either yourself or others. As always, consult your own physician for any medical issues that you may be having. My Story Living with Lupus podcast is officially trademarked, all rights reserved.